Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to go ahead and talk about movement, and there's a couple different descriptors in here that can get a little bit confusing. If we go through some of the attachments, it'll say sprinting movement speed, regular movement speed, and then we have strafe speed, shoot while firing speed. There's a lot of different variables here. What I want to do is focus on the specific movement for the lasers as well as the underbarrels for SMGs, since it seems there's a lot of confusion with that. If you enjoy the video, learn something new, please do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're brand new, want to find your way back, just double check, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. So for both of these, there's pros and cons, but if we focus just on movement speed, that walking speed, usually any of these attachments are going to change it anywhere between about 2.5 up to about 6%, unless you start stacking them. And that's usually either positive or negative depending on which attachment we're talking about. Then when it comes to sprinting movement speed, this one usually changes anywhere between about 1.5 up to about 4.5, 5%, depending on which one you use. And these are additive. So if you stack two attachments that do the same thing together, you can actually get the increased form of that added together. So if one's 3 and the other one's 4, that's going to add up to 7. So something to keep in mind as we go through here. And since some of these weapons have different names depending on which attachment you're using, you're going to want to make sure you pay attention to what the position is, because generally whatever the first one is, regardless of the name, it does the same thing as the first one on other guns of the same type. And this continues on depending on which one we're talking about. So when it comes to the second one, in this case, it's called the Red Cell foregrip. It's going to actually hurt your regular walking speed by about 5%, and it's going to boost your sprinting speed by about 2.25. When it comes to the patrol grip, you can see that it has sprint movement speed and no con, and this one will boost your sprinting speed by about 4.5%. Then that brings us to the fourth one. In this case, ends up being the bruiser grip. It ends up helping movement speed by about 2.25%, which actually translate over to sprint speed, because obviously if the base movement speed moves up, then your sprinting movement speed will move up as well. So it's kind of one of those things, about a 2.25 increase on both of those ends. And for this last one, you can see that the movement speed is a con. You actually lose about 6% of your movement speed, while your sprinting movement speed increases by about 2.25. Obviously the horizontal recoil controls in there depending on which attachment. You'll kind of have to see how that works on that individual weapon. Oddly enough, there's also two lasers that actually help with your overall movement speed and sprint movement speed, which doesn't make any sense to me. I guess that's the same type of thing where it actually helps with your range. Makes no sense at all. And right here, we're going to see that the second one, the mounted flashlight, increases your movement speed, and this one ends up bumping it up by about 3%. Then if I go all the way down to the fifth one, this actually increases your movement speed by about 3.5%. Doesn't necessarily make sense to me, but that's pretty much what I was able to test. So that's pretty much it when it comes to movement. None of these other things mention pretty much movement in any other way, which is kind of odd that, they wouldn't impact that in any way. But I covered the ones that make the most sense, pretty straightforward. And like I said, with these attachments, they are additive. So if you're looking just for the fastest movement speed, you'd go with the Bruiser and the Tiger team. But if you wanted the fastest sprinting, you would end up going with the patrol grip. So obviously that's not going to help you with recoil, so it's case by case what makes the most sense to you, and it will come down to preference. But if you're just looking for faster movement speed and sprinting speed, there you go. So that's pretty much it. Straightforward. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, learned something new. If you did, please do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're brand new, want to find your way back, double check, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. Appreciate y'all supporting the channel. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.